Good morning, my friends. I'm Reverend Catherine Bonin, and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. Whether you're with us in person, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, or even watching some other day on the website, we're glad you're here. If this is your first time here, we're delighted that you've chosen to join us today. And we're grateful that modern technology allows us to touch so many lives across this great country of ours. To find out more about who we are and all the wonderful things that are happening at Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, please visit our website, and that's cslcharlotte.org. There you can subscribe and you'll get on our email list and you'll get some emails, not too many, but you'll get some telling you about things that are happening here. And you can also put in a prayer request. Let us support you with whatever's happening in your life, whether it's something that you're struggling with or something that you want to celebrate, something that you might want to create more of. We love to pray, and prayer is a way of deepening your relationship with Spirit. So we'd love to hold you in prayer. Go on the website, put in a prayer request, and please don't be shy. And if you hear something today that you'd like to hear again, or if you happen to miss a Sunday, we'd love it if you'd go to the website and you can rewatch it or watch one that you've missed. Or if you just want a shot of inspiration, there are well over a year's worth of services up there on the website for you to watch that are recorded, and they will give you that shot of inspiration that you're looking for. And we do add these services to the website every Sunday. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about us. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community living in ancient wisdom philosophy. And this philosophy is based on the science of mind. Science of mind was developed in the early 20th century by writer, lecturer, and philosopher Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. We call him the great synthesizer because he studied truths from all of the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths. He found those places where there are commonalities. He found those places where those truths intersect. And he developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into the world. At the Center for Living Charlotte, every spiritual philosophy is honored, along with every race, every sexual orientation, and every physical distinction. We are a diverse, open, and affirmative community. We believe that all roads are good. We know that there are many paths. You can call it God, you can call it peace, love, spirit, the universe, infinite mind, Baha'u'llah, or the I am presence, or so many other things. The truth is, it doesn't matter what you call it. What matters is that you develop that personal relationship with it, that relationship that begins within. You don't have to leave your current philosophy or religion or nature of knowledge. Join us anytime and see your life change by practicing the principles of the science of mind. We're an inclusive philosophy. We recognize and honor, and we refer to many of the sacred scriptures, such as the Bible or the Torah or the Quran or the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, just to name a few. So our vision statement is to continue a spiritual community, creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and express the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, the body, and the spirit of individuals. One of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in the community. And we teach the tools to do just that. So join us here on Sunday mornings at our consciousness meetings on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about and we learn about these spiritual principles and practices. And of course, we invite you to join us in one of our ongoing classes, and you'll hear a little bit more about that later. So once again, I want to welcome everyone, invite you to sit back and enjoy the service as we celebrate this powerful presence that lives within every one of us, that spark of the divine. So now It's my pleasure to pass the microphone over to my dear friend and our illustrious leader, Reverend Rosedale Jones.
Oh, that is so fabulous. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And thank you, Reverend Catherine, for being our MC today, all the way out there from Carlsbad. So, anyway, California. So, anyway, welcome everyone. The YouTube people, you're doing great. I see you a lot out there looking, seeing what we're talking about. What is she talking about now? Well, welcome, and whatever you hear today, what I say here goes for you too. So, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. This is the Mind Body Spirit Center. And today our attention is on the path to self-transformation. So, why do we think about that? Transformation. We'll find out on your self discovery today. So, with that, why not educate yourself on the path to spiritual transformation? And so, we're going to start our celebrations with an opening affirmative prayer to set the tone for this. So I know that leading our prayer today is one of my awesome, awesome people. He happens to be my right-hand man. His prayers have elevated for out through. He's just going to classes. That's all I know. And he's making it happen for himself. So I thank you, Alan, for coming up right now and getting ready to do this prayer for us. And boy, Alan, let's let it go.
So right here and right now, in this sacred moment, I recognize the infinite power that is the infinite creative source. And this infinite creative source expresses through each and every one of us as our own individualized expressions, our own creativity, our own lives. And this infinite presence seeks to transform through us, as us. So every decision we make, every task that we decide to do is always blessed, because we are that infinite creative power that is within us. So I know that this infinite creative power is guiding Reverend Rosedale Jones right here and right now to give us a powerful, passionate message that inspires us to truly shine and to be our own authentic selves and to shine out into the world. So with much gratitude for a community like this, I am filled with happiness and with joy. So I release these intentions out into the sacred law of cause and effect, knowing that everything is manifesting right here and right now. And so it is. And now I'll pass the mic over to our fabulous Reverend Rosedale Jones.
All right, that's all right. You like that, Alan. That was fabulous. I see what you like. You like the law of cause and effect. Boy, I like that. So let's take a deep breath in after that one that really lit up my cells. So now I want you to know that if you want a better understanding of the path to self-transformation, just put in a prayer request. Just want to say that real quick because a lot of people are not aware that if you just go to our website right away, you do that. So we had some new people come in last week with a couple of prayers, and I thought that was phenomenal. So great for all of you who are listening, for wherever you're from, and going to our website. So that being said, next on our platform is our reader. And our reader is none other than Jerry Campbell, aka Groovy G. She is the person who's in the background there doing what she's doing, watching the silence and keeping it cool back there. But she's one of those, also one of those people to me who just keeps stuff real. And when I want to hear the truth, I wouldn't ask nobody but her. And I'll ask her and I'm going to get it, like it or not. So not to mention, that's one of the biggest noticeable facts I knew about her since 4 years ago when I saw her evolve and constantly watch her evolve. And she's so authentic with her evolutions to her path to self-transformation. So with that, I know she's going to tell us the truth about the path to self-transformation today in her reading. So with that, after she finishes her reading, listen to the next thing you need to probably love to hear, that there is one power. And that song that talks about the one power is so phenomenal in our transformation, as long as we recognize that in here, heart, and mind, right? And so just know that it's a big celebration and inspirational song that will help us to understand the unity that we really are all about with people and all the experiences. So with that, Groovy, get it together and let it happen.
Good morning, everyone. I had the honor of reading Winning and Transformation, written by our very own Reverend Rosedale Jones. Winning is all about embracing the unknown. It's about adapting and thriving in the face of life's uncertainties, which ultimately shape your character. Winning has the power to transform both you and your reality. The only way to lose is to stay hidden, constantly peeking around the corner, hoping for an advantage or a shortcut, and letting life pass you by while you wait for the stars to align. Here's something a little unsettling. Every time you take a step or two outside of your comfort zone, the reward is not just the short-term triumph you feel. It goes beyond that, especially if you jump over that boundary and keep pushing forward. You are investing in an updated version of yourself, witnessing a new reality unfold right before your eyes. Remember, it's the small acts of courage that truly matter. They are far from trivial or insignificant. When you catch yourself daydreaming, thinking, I wish, or if only, and feeling disappointed by the difference between imagination and reality, that feeling can be transferred. The challenge is then transformed into action that brings about actual change. You have the power to step off the merry-go-round and move toward a new North Star. Is it difficult? Yes. But the aim is not to avoid difficulty. It is to embrace the challenges that transform your life. When you're at your lowest point, you often position yourself, without even realizing it, to reach your highest point of potential energy. This supply moves and successfully through an environment of new beginnings. The following is a quote from Reverend Rosedale. Challenges are life's way of urging us to dive deep, sometimes extremely deep, to remind us how much we need the oxygen on the surface. And so it is.
Wow. Let's start with a short, deep breath from the belly up, all the way into the heart. And just relax as we let that air out. Cleansing breath. And now breathe in really deep again and really long. And allow it to float back out again. It's so interesting that there is this power, and it's only one of them, that we see it everywhere we go, even though it seems as it's invisible. Like Reverend Catherine said in the beginning, it's so many names that we can call this power, this spirit, this Jesus, Lord. Whatever name you give it, it's just that one power. And when we close our eyes to see, I love that part. He says such differences we know were never meant to be. So what we do is think about this. What does that lead you to think? So can you actually believe that there are so many names and so many paths to this one God based on all the things that you might have learned as you're coming up? Because there's many paths to God, there's many names for God, and nobody's wrong. But see, we understand that as CSL Charlotte, and we respect all those paths. So, are you ready to practice that one power, to feel its oneness in you? Well, that's good, because if you and are you really ready, then you're a choice. Whether you decide to use your spiritual practices to get to that one power, it's really your choice. But just remember that when you practice, you are ready for that path to self transformation. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and integrate that mind, body, and spirit as you float back into this room that you're in, this consciousness container. And then look around your space and see what's different that wasn't here before I started this celebration service. Just allow something to bring you back to the present moment. And at that time, I'll be taking a gratitude moment for Reverend Catherine, who I love it when she shows up to MC for us. And thank you, Alan, for serving us so powerfully in that prayer. And also, Groovy, that reading that you read, Winning and Transformation that I wrote, speaks volumes to the path to self-transformation. So remember, life is always good. So when I reflect on it, life has been all about choosing difficult journeys. You heard what Groovy said. Is it difficult? Yes. But it's about the greater success if you're willing to sacrifice some of your pride. If, oh, they're going to think I'm crazy trying this big deal. No, not really. It's all about surrendering to the challenges that we face without even letting them take control. Because when they take control, bam, they drop us. We don't give control to the life forces out there. Because, well, in other words, what happens when we surrender? I'm going to use a science force. If it's something opposing you and you're opposing it, there's resistance back and forth, resistance. But if you surrender and let it go, that side lets go and it's released. And now you take your place because now it's out of your way. You moved out, bam. You know, did you ever have a course or a practice in self-defense? Well, that's what you're taught, to give your opponent the element of surprise. So as soon as you stop resisting and giving back power, it says, oh, I don't need to push them so hard. And as soon as they let you go, bam, you get to stand and take your position in the life you chose for yourself. And then you get to manifest all that awesome and powerful stuff to create the outcome you really, really desired. So just remember that. Based on this, know this. The opposing force turns challenges for us into opportunities for our growth, our transformation, and our evolution. Realize that there's only one force, and the force that we have that's resisting in our transformation is us. We are the ones. We are always the one. I make up excuses sometimes when I'm in the heat of stuff that I'm trying to get out of. That's just me fighting my resistance. Oh, then I start to realize, good, you had your time with your force. Now surrender, honey. And as soon as I surrender, my energy emerges and it starts propelling me forward again. And I'm back in, making me stronger. It's making me more resilient. And I am seeing more and more transformations. You know what? Sometimes, minute by minute, I'm seeing transformations. But you know what I learned? I am my only opposing force. That's what I just recently learned in my family. I'm the only one, right? I'm the opposing force. So therefore, my greatest transformation comes when I discovered that. Well, one of them. One of many. I'm always going to be transforming. I'm never going to be there. In other words, there is an internal struggle accompanied by everything we do. And then eventually there comes a breakthrough that leads us to another personal growth and transformation. So think those issues that you have. Think the fact that somebody's mad at you or you're mad at somebody because you needed that. When I started my original journey back 20, 30 years ago, I used to feel that no matter what I did, nothing was working. Oh, I started this spiritual journey, but it just felt like it's not happening fast enough or something. And then I go back and then, I started, there was times I started doing a new trend that that I should be doing to shift my paradigm. And then I ended up just working against myself by sort of giving up or using somebody as an example that I'm mad at. So I'm going to kick my own self. Mm-mm. See, there were times that I felt that my spiritual work was just a hoax. Oh, yes. You think, oh no, she didn't do. Yeah, I'm telling you. Because things weren't happening fast enough. I just felt like I should have been doing. Guess what side I was on? The fear side. Just the fear side. Afraid that something's gonna happen. You know, and that's just what happens. When you let go of that fear, eventually it happens. And see, the thing is this, the main reason why I know for a fact that I went through what I went through is because I had paradigms that were built and structured in me. They were paradigms and they were structures and they were patterns of my thinking. And that way, my whole system had gotten used to that. That's why we have the opposing force. It took me time to free myself, and I'm grateful that I took that time to get things started back then and working the way I did back then. Because now I go through my same issues that I went through some years ago. But guess what? I come out a little bit faster. And I'm looking for that happy point. I'm looking to be smiling. I'm looking to be on a good note on this thing when it's over. Even if something happens where I feel sick a little bit. Oh, wait a minute, let's fix that. Then I go in there and start digging, getting into this. Or I'll do my little prayer work, get up in the morning and says, go drink some of this. Go eat some of that. You know, oh my God. I began to expand continuously, and my experiences for life and more life all shows me that everything was already in here. Perfect. I know that sounds so weird for people to hear that, but it's true. Keep going. Keep going. It's in there. And it's just a matter of the day that it happens. You don't know when, but you can figure it out. The more diligent you become, the more you decide to make that move to the path of self-transformation. All no holds barred. Go for it. Because as far as I'm concerned, I think Groovy's reading really hit that nail all the way on the head. Bam. See, it said that you have the power, because I'm talking to me most of the time when I write, to step off the merry-go-round towards your new North Star. Because, and then it asks, is it difficult? Yeah. But you know what? The aim is not for us to avoid the difficulty. It is for us to embrace the challenges that transform our lives. Because without that challenge, we've got no contrast. Without that contrast, we've got no change. Then she read, the only way to lose, this is me, is to stay hidden, and constantly peeking around the corner to see what's going on, hoping that, I'm going to get an advantage out of this one. Oh, no, I tell you what, I'm going to take a shortcut. And then guess what happens? All these shortcuts I took was making me waste more time and letting life pass me by while I was waiting for the stars to align. You heard that part. That was just being all sarcastic. That was just a sarcastic thought. Oh, I'm sitting here going, wait, let them line up so I can be, no. Get in the path authentically. See, there's an expression that says this. When we're trying a new challenge or we're trying to change, all hell breaks loose. Now, that saying is associated with the idea that when we set out to make some shifts in those paradigms we had, all of our habitual patterns start to oh, wait a minute, she's not doing this right. And it went on. We encounter some challenges. You hear me? And when we shift to a personal growth journey, or we shift to talking about changing that, shifting that paradigm, it's like turning on a fan in a room of a bunch of dust, right? And you just turn it on. Now the dust starts stirring up and going all over the place and flying everywhere, all in your eyes, blinding you can't see. But once I started stirring up the stuff in my life, it felt like all those obstacles were there coming at me to test me to see if I really wanted my transformations or not. They're going to still be coming. You better be sure. You better rest assured of that, because I need that and I accept it. Yeah, for a few minutes, I sit there and what is it? Blame other people for a minute. Then I say, okay, let's get it together now. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Paradigm shifts bring up unresolved emotions. Oh, and then you start to face them and see it brings it up all the way out to the surface, and then you can see your transformations take place, but you're not seeing them because you are not looking for them, but they're happening. One power, invisible, but you see it everywhere and every day. The difference is only dangerous when in our heart we forget. Huh. Just like there are many paths to God, there are many, very many perspectives to the spiritual science field. My God, there are so many different perspectives. I didn't want to use philosophy because I want to use perspectives. Okay, for a reason. Okay, you know what I meant. Okay, so we have metaphysicians, we have psychology, we have spiritual teachers, and we have these scholars, and all these different belief systems in our wonderful, beautiful aspect of spirituality interpret or perceive things in different ways. But you know what? It's all leading up to that one power. See, some of the perspectives, here's one. They said there's a lot of resistance from our status quo. This is how things normally go, so we can't change it, and da da da. There's a lot of resistance in that. That's a perspective you need to understand. Soon as you are so in your beliefs and your truths, and this is yeah, what happens? Shaking it, baby. You shaking it. See, the resistance comes from our existing patterns and our structures that we built. Nobody built that. So if somebody pushes my buttons because they did, no. I built that button years ago. So when they pushed it, it was up for me to start to realize that, listen, that resistance is showing up as a challenge, or maybe a setback, or maybe an unexpected difficulty for you. So don't be deceived. See, because what happens is the psychological and the metaphysical different points of view, it's all the same. One's from science and one's from spirituality. But their perspectives are the same idea. Scientists test these hypotheses, and we actually do our practices and we see results. Now that's what happens when we attempt to change. We face resistance. And the resistance, guess where it comes from? Our own mind. We hold the resistance and we hold the peace. Surrender. It'll let you go. See, some metaphysicians, what they like to do is they like to speak of energy shifts or vibrational changes that occur. And they say that they occur when we are in the process of change. That's another perspective. When you're in the process of change, just look around. Trust yourself. There's only, here's what I know. There's a perspective that I also know where they say that it challenges us to show up as forms of testing or growth opportunities. Sometimes they show up to see if we are ready to grow. See, and then the people But I love the way he ends his prayer because it reminds me of the law of attraction aspect. You know, they say that when we set out to change more, to go into more optimistic paradigms, oh my God, look out. Challenges, changes. The universe shines that light on these conflicting beliefs that we hold. So instead of hiding behind limitations, I decided to reflect on my life. And the transformation reflection that I had for me, I started discovering my writing. I started discovering my speaking. I started discovering my dedication to the mind, body, spirit, so much so that I get so much elation behind the work I do on the minds and bodies of other people. It's great, and not to mention my speaking skills. So when I prepare to do all of these things every day that I do with the various people, I get to expand my own inner self. When I'm listening to the music to get them started for the talk, I'm creating all these affirmations in my head, and I'm automatically singing them, and they sinking into my cells. And all those beautiful cells that are constantly growing in us to make us healthy again, to change our health, they're coming out nice and healthy, those cells. Because I don't have those, or always, I don't have those things that's covering me up to fear, to give me those other cells, this ease. See, that's what the path to self-transformation is all about, at least for me. But what about you? Can you imagine a life that you prefer to be living, right? But now you have all these great transformations you start looking at. Can you imagine them and experience at all of these different things in life? Can you imagine that? Well, it's never too late to start using that imagination. It's never too late to create things that, people say, oh, that's so silly. It's not. I will sit there sometimes in the car and daydream and see me walking down this beautiful, onto this beautiful stage. I have not let that dream go. With billions of people coming to hear me speak, with millions of, and it making so much sense. Guys, I'm not done. I'm never going to be done. I'm always going to dream. And I'm always going to vision in me. Imagine. There's never going to be an age where you can say, one of my clients asked me, she's 82. She goes, when do we stop? I said, stop what? She said, well, when do we stop doing all these things you're talking about? I said, darling, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to do this, because as long as I'm alive, I'm going to make mistakes. And as long as I'm alive, I'm going to come out on the other side of each one of my mistakes happy. She said, okay, Rosedale, I got you. I love Shirley McGurley. I call her Shirley McGurley. But, I'm grateful that I made tuning up my imagination one of my most significant parts of my life. Because at first that's what I'm telling you. I used to say, oh, that's ridiculous. I don't feel like doing that. Okay. You run from it, you hide from it, and you look for shortcuts. You heard my reading? I know what I'm talking about because I used to do it. Whew. It wasn't for those spiritual practices. Now today, I'm constantly on the what's it called? The path of self-transformation, right? And I notice that I am either evolving daily, sometimes hourly. Whew. Yes, because I like it. When I'm alone in my car a lot, I'm listening to me. I'm saying, wow, remember? Look at you now. Wow, remember? Oh, wait, how about this? I had an incident just 2 weeks ago. I looked back at that 3 or 4 days later and said, wow, just to think about that. You was all ready to get them and beat them up. And, girl. Phew. I challenge you this week to use your imagination and create yourself a future that you have not lived yet. back in California, the things that's happening for me now, I have been visualizing them and I've been smiling. No, you got to smile. And I was smiling all the way to where I had to be. Every single day for those hours I'm with these people, I am smiling. I am happy and they are happy because it's contagious. And I don't let any other thing disturb me from that peace because I'm giving them peace and they're giving it back because we are in that opposing force. But the only thing, we surrender. So look at that life that you haven't lived yet. Imagine yourself as this person, this master manifester, creating a remarkable life. And then recognize that each one of those obstacles that are about to come, oh yeah, it's going to be your mind, the crucial part. That's going to be the transformational journey. That's going to be the transformational fix. Whatever. You know what I mean. Now, those obstacles that you will see, they got to be, remember, they are essential. You need the contrast. Without the contrast, you got no truth to the path of self-transformation. When we embrace those challenges, instead of fighting them, pushing against them, guess what? We surrender. But what's really happening? We're not really merely overcoming them. What's really happening is we're using them as these little building blocks to get to our personal growth and our evolution and our transformation. We're using them. Wow, I remember before when it didn't work out, I'm stepping on each one of my steps. Remember, we're not limited by any of the rules of life. Somebody could tell me, you know you was wrong, but that's their rule. I hear them. But if I live by their rule and keep chastising myself because they did, what difference what does that do me? I'm the one who's got to live with this power in here. There's only one. We're here to understand those rules that people have, and we push the boundaries. And then sometimes we even rewrite these rules entirely. I have learned to manufacture trust and confidence and to make these shifts, these paradigm shifts when I notice them. Oh yes, the little things that I might notice that, you know what, when you was younger, you would do that. And you did it. You was very vindictive. Oh yeah? Now you see, you don't need to do that. Because guess what? It works out. See, we have the desire to find meaning in a world that, if we're not mindful, it shapes our flawed paradigms and we stick right there. And then we have to deal with those unbearable rules. See, my life is not dictated by someone else's routine. Instead, I do the things I love. I feel passionate about the things I do. But when you believe in your ability to rise above all of it, it's time to adopt a spiritual practice. Now you can boost your imagination to fly. You see? Now, can we just do this? Let's imagine. Oh my God, this is why this song came up for me. Let's imagine that we can fly, because the path to self-transformation propels us continuously. Boom, 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 boom. Go. All we have to do is imagine we have wings. And every day I'm singing that song. You got to know that I'm constantly affirming and imagining. You got to remember that the lyrics to the songs are giving us affirmations. Use these songs, read them, listen to them. And the path to self-transformation is ours. So when you listen to this next song, I Believe I Can Fly, remember that. So let's go to I Believe I Can Fly by Yolanda Adams. Yolanda, calm down. Yolanda, calm down, girl. You are singing. You're using your imagination to touch the sky right before my very ears. That's the auditory in me. When I sing, I say to myself, I believe I can fly. but I think about it every night and day, and I spread my wings and I fly away because I literally believe I can soar. I see me walking through that open door because I believe I can fly. So anyway, whoa, guys, let me tell you something. I know. Thank you, Timmy P, for all the informative things you remember about all of what we do, and what you when you summarize that talk, it's really nice. So this is the time we talk about our birthdays. Now you know I don't know your birthday, and well, some of you do. I know. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, you know it's your birthday. So on YouTube, put your day. I'm just going to keep going until you start to put your day and your month into that comment, because you are going to that website based on what you're hearing. That's why I keep saying it over and over. So go there, put your day and your month in there and jot it down for us, and we will hold the light for you on your birthday wherever you are. So now that said, I've got some big, great shout outs to our platform team, because you know this is not a one-man band, it could one woman band. That we don't do this thing by herself. So I thank you, Reverend Catherine, for being here from Carlsbad, all the way from Carlsbad, California, to do this for us as my friend and my sister. So I really appreciate you. So our open and closing prayer, Alan, thank you. You knocked it out of the park. So thank you very much. And thank you, Groovy, for the reading. You were so explicit that I had to remember some things in it that you said, because it really lit my cells up to hear it. Ha! I like to hear my readings. That's kind of cool. But anyway, our spiritual harmony steward is Groovy, the one who just did the reading. And she keeps things, like I said, nice and clean. So I have to say thank you, Groovy, for all of that you getting in here to making sure that we're good to go in that. And thank you, Mo, for being on the emailing list and making sure that as they come through, you're getting them out there as promptly as you can. And thanks, Timmy P, for the announcements, the music, and being our AV and keeping us safe in here and making sure everything is flowing for us. And thank you, Horace the Bush, for making sure that everybody got their place and know where they're going. And thank you, Alan, for being my right-hand man. And boy, you just stepping up, boy. You stepping up to the plate. Now, and Melissa, don't forget about you doing that spotlighting back there and making sure that we are seen and heard. Oh, that's pretty interesting. But anyway, and Michelle, thank you for being back there and being one of the trainees to get going back there with your technology expertise in the future. So before that last song, I want you to consider this. Today was all about that path to self-transformation. And I said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more times, that when I smile, all the cells in my entire body light up. And I can't do anything but change my mood from crappy to happy. Ooh, I like that. So remember that this week, from crappy to happy, smile. The path to what? The path to self-transformation, what it does is it's there to align us with our perfect transformations all the time. That's like she makes a proper cup of coffee and a proper coffee cup. Anyway, that's just twisting your tongue around. But so anyway, before we close out, if you want something new to do this week, start on the transformation, the path to self-transformation. And when you do, when things look creepy and look crazy, acknowledge that power, that one power within you, and then smile. And you will discover yourself smiling and feeling better and even happier on your journey. So with that, after that, the next song, Smile, Alan's going to pray us out. So I want you to feel the energy from that song on the way out. So with that being said, listen to our song, Smile. We were in here partying, y'all. So we had no choice but to come in back nice and easy. So after that fabulous song, brother Alan, right hand man, send us home happy.
All right. Wow. Wow. I'm still feeling that song. And we all still feel that infinite power that lives within each and every one of us. That one power that Daniel Nahmod reminded us of. That one power that is infinite source, infinite prosperity, infinite love. And we are individualized expressions of this one power. And because of that, we are all fabulous. We're all passionate. We're all powerful. So, so I know that we move forward with confidence. We transform in our own spiritual confidence each and every day this week. And I know that sometimes, like Rosedale said, sometimes we're tested. Sometimes it's easy to devolve back into that stinking thinking when those overdue bills pile up, when you don't dread going into that dead end job. But you need to remind yourself that we all remind ourselves that we can fly, that Yolanda Adams so eloquently saying that we believe we can fly. So take the time before you walk out that door to go to that dead end job, or when you start looking at those overdue bills, that you can fly above these circumstances because you are powerful, you are deserving, and you are wonderful just the way you are. And then go out there in that world and smile no matter what happens, because you know that you are making changes, small changes on some days, bigger changes on other days, but you are moving forward in your transformational journey, one step at a time, one day at a time. And that's really what it's all about, smiling along the way and enjoying the surprises, because we are here on this earth for the adventure. So right here and right now, I am thankful to be a part of this community where we can remind ourselves who we are as powerful expressions of the one power. So I release these declarations out into the powerful law of cause and effect, knowing that everything is returning to us in wonderful ways. And so it is.
Wow. And so it is. Thank you, Alan. That was awesome. You gave us our power back. I hope everybody snatched their power. So he said that to us. Let's hear it. So, in closing, I just want to say, as we wrap up our time together, remember to take heart in using the path to self transformation, and make sure you remember that when you need a good spiritual practice, either call somebody, research one, but take that path through with spiritual practice, the path of transformation, self transformation. And remember, the universe is constantly supporting you in your journey, and know that until we meet again, get started on the path of self transformation. And so it is.